good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk Dima Mary J Music. So guys, today we are talking about popular TikToker Fi Eudora. And she is a Caucasian lady from the city of Memphis. And I was on the TikTok page and she seems to be doing some interesting things, you know, like having fun with her kids, you know, and other stuff. And she is the typical, I guess what you would say, the stereotype of a white woman with like all black friends, or sounds black, or you would say acting black in the urban sense, like the hood, right? I mean, not that part of black culture that, you know, the Pookie kind of culture. She's like that, if you would look. She could be a nice person, but that's what you kind of maybe feel, that she's been growing up in the hood if you look at her page. But nonetheless, she seems like, you know, she's a nice person. She's not trying to, you know, hurt nobody or hate on nobody. But she has come under fire for having 11 kids by 8 different baby daddies. God damn. And when you look at the kids on her page, they all seem to be very much black or mixed. So for sure we can say that all of the fathers are primarily black men. Now, obviously I believe she's unmarried, but I want you to listen to the reasoning as to why she says she has 11 kids by 8 different dudes. We'll play both videos and then you'll find out why.
Why is it when women have multiple children that y'all instantly think of this shit? Like, we live in like Tiny Tim and shit. Like, a lot of fucking people crammed up in one little ass house, scraping up on food, struggling. Like, when in reality, it's really giving. Me and my kids be partying and turning up around this motherfucker. One thing I'm sick of having to explain is why I have 8 baby daddies. Okay, so I'm explaining this one time for y'all, so it won't be any more questions. Okay, let me explain this. If you have one and you take away 1, you have 0. But if you have 8 and you take away 3, you still have 5.
Okay, so that's what we're dealing with right there, right? But now at the same time, here's what I want to play. I saw another brother on TikTok that explains how men feel, a lot of men, dating women with kids, okay? Let's talk about that.
Me as somebody who's single, who doesn't have kids, there's no way I'm dating a woman with kids. I don't care how old the kid is. Like, when you you date somebody with kids, you take on 100% of the responsibility of that child with 0 authority. Like, you can't discipline that child. I gotta hear, you not my dad, and I ain't trying to hear that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want no baby daddy issues. I don't want you secretly sleeping with your baby mom because it's that time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Nah, man.
So now, here's where we're at, all right? This lady is specifically saying, I have all these kids by different men because if something happens to one of the kids' fathers, I have other baby fathers. In other words, the other baby fathers will step up for the other kid or other guy that's dead. That is what she's saying, okay? That's what she's saying. Now, I want to deal with that because here's what we got to deal with today. A lot of guys understand this particular trick, all right? And it makes sense to her, but the point is it doesn't make sense to anybody else. And the reason why you have so many baby fathers, I can also talk about why you do. Because none of them are good. That's why. They're not good guys. Because if they were decent guys, you wouldn't need to go with all these other guys. But because they're probably not financially stable, they don't have a plan for the future, so you have to try to, you know, get all these different guys instead of getting one guy. And what would that ultimately be a reflection of? Now, I know what a lot of people are going to say. A lot of women are going to say, well, this is Memphis, right? Ain't nothing but trash men in Memphis. They always say it wherever you're at. Atlanta, men are trash in Atlanta. Sacramento, men are trash in Sacramento. But then how do you explain the people that you get around and you hang around? Because you are who you hang around. It is clear when you look at the young lady's TikTok. I'm not hating on her. She might be a nice person, but it is clear that, you know, it's not a lot of valuable people probably hanging around her. Okay. That's to say it nicely. There's not a lot of valuable men that will come in and look at her in a situation and be like, you know what? You have something to offer me. I mean, just look at some of the stuff she does on her TikTok. I mean, some of it could be twerking and, just a little, a lot of, like I said, no, nothing wrong with tattoos. But again, it does say something to certain guys for women to have tattoos, bending over excessively. What do you expect that you're going to get? You're going to get low quality men. And when you have low quality men, there's so many of them that you need to make up one man. And then also, what we got to deal with is the fact that you're not being fair to the kids, okay? Every child that I know that, let's say, for example, their mama had multiple kids. I'm just gonna be real. Your kids have different daddies. You got made fun of. It was almost, for some people, an embarrassment. What happens when, and I'm gonna tell you, this is what happens a lot of times, right? One kid might have a better father than the other, all right? So one kid might come over and take the kid out, his child out, and then his brother, because his mom picked a Pookie and Ray Ray, his daddy locked up. So the other brother is coming back getting, clean school clothes and stuff like that. And then you have to explain to the child, who is not at fault, that you know what? Yeah, well, her dad is different from yours. So that's why you don't get anything. And then what typically happens? The baby mama gets mad at the baby daddy. Why don't you take the other kid with him? If you go, and there was a viral clip that was going around here. It was a skit, I believe. But you saw why you getting your son something to eat and you not getting my son something to eat? That's how ridiculous it is. That's how much it doesn't make sense, guys. That's what we're dealing with here. And it's completely okay for her to do that. Now, I know that she's been getting some comments that are negative and, racist towards her children. And that's not nice. That's not fair at all. But obviously, give your kids the best opportunities. And don't be having all these kids that obviously you probably don't have the resources to take care of. And she even talks about it. Everybody thinks that kids that come in one house, 11 kids, are poor. Well, that's because typically that's the truth. Typically, women or men or families that have a lot of kids in urban areas are poor. That's usually, especially if you're not a family that's professional, business oriented, which looking at your TikTok page, unless I'm completely wrong, I would feel like that's probably not you as the most enterprising person in the world, right? So, but guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.